Okay, streamed four more games. Now going to do a review for each of them, a little bit on each of them. We'll start with Alfred Chicken. I had never played this game before, and I've played it a couple times on here. Basically, you go around as a chicken. I assume what you're supposed to do is collect stuff in the stage, but also you're supposed to release these balloons, and the last one will take you out of the stage. The game is very weird. I'm thinking that might have been why on our shores maybe it made it or maybe it didn't make it. Um, I'm not really sure. Like I said, I'd never heard of the game. Um, it's very weird. It's kind of like Mario in a way with different areas to go in, different power ups to get, and things like that that you can only use for that level. Um, it's just a really strange game overall. The control's not horrible, but it takes some getting used to. And for most of the game, what you have to do is you have to jump up and then dive bomb with your beak to kill some of the enemies that are around, which is really, really awkward. But I played the game and I don't really care for it. It's an odd game and it's just really weird, and the control is just kind of it's not awful, but it could be a lot better. The control could be a lot better. Could be a lot more functional. Um, so there's that one. The next one up was Alien 3. Um, I haven't really played this one that much. I played enough to get through the first level for you guys. What you do is you go through each level and you get the prisoners, and there's a timer at the bottom that flips every so often to show you how many prisoners are left and how much time you got left. The object is you have to go save the prisoners and then get out where the exit is in the allotted time. Of course, there's also aliens around. You get different guns and things like that. You can use like a flamethrower, a grenade, things like that. There's some problems with this game. There's a lot of problems with this game. The control is really jerky and kind of hard to move. Another thing is most games, many people, including myself, were used to jumping with the A button. This game, the jump button is the B button, and to fire your gun is the A button. Um, a lot of times the aliens come from out of nowhere and they hit you. If you fall from a high enough distance, you'll die that way too. You can get different things in the stages, but you really have to know where you're going to be able to save the prisoners and beat the time limit. If you don't beat the time limit, it shows where the prisoners that you didn't find, it shows where they are. It doesn't show you how to get to them. It just shows you where they are. And it just shows that, and then you have to, you kind of have to know where they are. This game's really, really bad. It's made by LJN. LJN made a lot of games based on movies, and a lot of them are really, really bad. LJN was not known for making good games. They made bad games, lots of bad games. I went through the second stage and I missed one prisoner, and but at least I found the exit and everything. But I was not going to try to beat the entire game. That was not going to be the goal. I just wanted to see how far I could get in that second stage because I got through the first one. So, but it's one of those things where the game could have been better, maybe, but and it's not that it's that absolutely bad. It's that it could have been a lot better than what it was. I don't really particularly like this game. I'm not doing a playthrough of it either. I don't like it. I don't like how they just. I don't like when the enemies come out and jump at you. I don't like how there's no like map or anything to tell you. I mean, like you would have to find it during the stage to be able to use it. I also don't like that you have an ammo counter. That to me on certain games that really kills a game for me where you have where you don't have unlimited ammo. That really bugs me because you're most of the time you're not really looking to conserve ammo or anything. Usually those are on first person shooters and things of that nature, and you shouldn't have to be looking to conserve ammo on a side scrolling shooter along with those things, and you shouldn't have to worry about that. That is a pain. That is a definite pain. The game, I don't know that it's based upon the movie in general. They made other Alien games too, and they're not much. They're not much better. So we'll probably run up on some of those a couple of times, but most of them are not very good at all. And most of the ones that are based upon movies, like I said, LJN, and they're not good. They're just not good. All Pro Basketball is another one I was talking about. I played through a full game of All Pro Basketball. It doesn't seem to matter which team you take. This game's hard to me. You're supposed to be able to maybe steal the ball with the A button, and then you have to shoot it with the B button. But when you go to shoot the ball, you have to press the B button and then press it again. That's the only way to shoot the ball. It looked like, though, the rebounding and stuff like that was completely at random. I just got my butt kicked on there. The things that boggle my mind the most about this game is there's a tip-off. They don't call them quarters. They call them periods. And usually you have 3 periods in a hockey game. You have 4 quarters in a basketball game. Kind of like 4 quarters in a football game. Why this game calls them period instead of quarter, I'll never know. But anyway, this game, you have, there's arrows marking above which player you control or which player you're passing to. If you're on the offense, it controls which character you're passing to. If you're on the defense, it shows you who you have. If these guys are passing the ball around, it will switch to the closest defender on the game. That's a major issue because if the closest defender is behind the ball carrier, you're not going to be able to stop them. And like I said, rebounding and stuff completely happened at random. Things of that nature. So it's just a weird basketball game. This other thing where you transition, and there's half of the court showing, and you transition from half of the court to the other half of the court and switch it around. That gets very disorienting and very bad very fast because you're going downwards on one screen. You're pushing down. When it switches over to the next screen, you got to be ready and you got to remember to push up because you are going to go back to defend at your own goal and you have to press up and not down. Where you have been pressing down so much to go back and defend them so that they try to do that. So it gets very confusing very fast. This is another one I don't like. The control is pretty bad. You can't see it by what I'm doing, but the control is pretty bad. it's rather bad. This is not a good game for me, a favorite game for me. Um, like I said, I got beaten pretty bad by the other team, and not very fun. I mean, even trying to shoot at the end of the game, but just not very fun. There's better basketball games to play than that. Let's see. Alpha Mission was the last one. I couldn't even get through the first stage of Alpha Mission. It's one of those spaceship shooters. There's thousands of them, but it's one of those spaceship shooters that goes from bottom to top of the screen. You bomb stuff on the ground, you pick up stuff. I don't know what kind of upgrades they are or anything. Tried to switch with any of the buttons and trying to do that, and it just doesn't switch, and it's just really bad, and I don't like it either. I didn't like any of the 4 I played. I want to show them to you guys, but it's not necessarily that I'm going to play all the way through them, because I'm really not. I'm not going to beat my head into the proverbial wall to go all the way through these games. We do have some good stuff coming up, though, on the Friday night flashbacks. Like I said, we're going to try to put through some of these and do some other playthroughs. Alien Syndrome is going to be on one of the Friday night flashbacks. Anticipation is going to be another one. Arch Rivals is going to be another one. And Arkanoid 1 and 2 are going to be another one. Once we get into the Bs, there will be Battletoads, Bomberman, Batman games. We'll probably put those all on the Friday night flashbacks. May not play through them all, but we'll use them. On the Battletoads one and the Batman ones, I don't know if we're going to play all the way through them. Battletoads is a hard game. I think, though, on like Battletoads, and then also we're going to do Kid Dracula on one of them, on one of the playthroughs. We're going to try to use Rare Replay for Battletoads, and we're going to try to use, there's a Castlevania collection that came out for the Xbox One, and I'm going to try to use that to play for Kid Dracula, because both of those games have a rewind button, and it makes it very helpful that if you screw up, all of a sudden you can just rewind to where you want and do it that way. And so we'll do that. But we got quite a few other games that we'll be going down through on streams. This may not be the only stream I release today. I may do another one here later. I don't know yet. But I'm going to try to put 2 to 4 games on each of these streams. That way, we get on down through there, because let's see. And we're not going to be playing them all, but there are, I think there's over 1,000 and some games on the Nintendo alone. 1,467 games on the Nintendo on here alone. Some of them are hacks and homebrews and stuff like that. Also, there's 1,054 on the Super Nintendo. Same deal. Let's see. We were going to go over the The Game Gear's got 386. The Game Boy has 621. The Game Boy Advance has 928. And the Game Boy Color has 589. The Sega Master System has 329, but the Sega Mega Drive has 1025. So we're going to try to go through a lot of these. I do have a thing on here that is it's called a Wonder Swan. We are not going to go through too many of these Wonder Swan games because they are wrote in Japanese, and I don't understand Japanese at all. I can't read it. I can't do anything with it. And like I said, if it's like a fighting game, yeah, I mean, we'll show them to you, but we can't really do all those things on there. Also, we want to show you the Virtual Boy. There's only a few games on there. The Sega CD on here only has 6. That would be a quick run through. The Genesis 32X would be the same thing. The PlayStation has 52. That's a PlayStation 1. I don't know if I can play them with the Super Nintendo controller. I do have a PlayStation controller over here. I may be able to play them with like an Xbox controller or something as well. So we'll have to see how that goes. We have a TurboGrafx 16, Neo Geo, and Neo Geo Pockets, and then which I guess is like Neo Geo's version of a Game Boy. The Neo Geo itself, there's a couple of computer systems on here. I don't know how far we're going to get into the arcades. One of them has 1,456. The other has 1,570. And some of the games don't work. And some of them work, but they're kind of broke. So if we can't play them or they're not playable, we're not going to worry about them. There are a couple Ataris on here. Between the two, they probably got 500 to 600 games. We'll see what we can play out of each one of them, because some of this stuff I don't know if it works. Some of it I and some stuff was ported to different areas anyway. And like I'm looking through one of them right now. That's the Amiga, the Commodore Amiga. And it's a computer system, and just some of the stuff on it looks really primitive and really rough. So I don't know how much of that will do. Like I said, there's a lot of game systems on here, and some of them have the same games. A lot of them have some of the same games. They've just got their own version of it. And but we would like to try everything on here and see what we can. The Commodore 64 is what's going to be the weird thing, because it's got 5,209 games. I'm sure all of them do not work. So that will be interesting to watch. I don't think we're going to do the Family Computer. We may do some of the Family Computer. That's the Famicom. That's the Nintendo. For those of you that don't know what the Famicom is, that is the Nintendo in Japan. They also have the Super Famicom, but it's not on here. But you have the Super Famicom. That's the Super Nintendo in Japan. They have a Game & Watch thing on here. It's like the little Tiger Electronic handheld type things. They've just got all kinds of different things on here. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. So, but we'll look at things, different things like for instance, the MSX has 10 Yard Fight 1942. Some of the other games have those same two games, but they are a little bit different. This one's got Nintendo 64 games, but it's only got 4. And there's only one of them I could really play through all the way. There's Doom 64, Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64, and Wipeout 64. I could get through Super Mario 64, and I may do a playthrough of that one day for you guys. As I still quite remember where most of the stars are. It's not going to be something that's going to be quick and easy, though. It's definitely going to be a little bit tough. and we'll have to see what we can do on those. So, they have a SG-1000. It's a Sega system, and all those are in Japan as well. So I don't know how many of those I can actually do either. So we'll have to find out, what we can and what we cannot do. What is not something that we can do here because we don't have the capability and to realize what we're on there. So, but just to give you guys a little picture of what I'm looking at. Just these different consoles, computer consoles, and also regular system consoles. So, but yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. So, just try to bring it all to you. Just try to show you everything. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you these things, and also trying to keep you from wasting your time on some bad ones or some ones that I think are bad. If you see the gameplay and you want to play the game, or you think that it might be okay, the game might be okay, remember, my opinion and my thoughts on the game may be completely different than anybody else's. Like, I will see the Angry Video Game Nerd. He busts on stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street. The game's not perfect, but I don't think it's that bad either. He'll bust on some of the wrestling games made by LJN. I don't think they're that bad. They're not great, but they're not bad either. There's a lot of games that he says maybe are not good, and some of them I do agree with him on. Some of them are not good, and then some of them are okay. Some of them are okay. You just have to try to, figure them out. And then there's a couple of them that he might say that are not too bad, and sometimes I disagree. And that to me, they are bad. So, but like I said, I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what these are and what they are. And I'm trying to be unbiased coming into like a game. Like if I played Jaws for the Nintendo, it's going to be an LJN game. But I try to come in with a clear head thinking, okay, it might be an LJN game. Let's give it a chance though and see if it's any good. I'm not just going to tell you right straight off the bat that it's bad. So, but we're going to cut this off, and like I said, we may release some other videos before Friday night. So if we do, we'll see you then. If not, we'll see you on Friday night.